Hello, this is Todd Luck, and when I did a video a few months back about how Factory Entertainment was putting out 3 3/4 inch figures of the original Battlestar Galactica, it had an overwhelming response. And that probably should have surprised me because Battlestar Galactica is a very special franchise. Of course, it is a TV show. It had a very successful Grim and Gritty reboot a few years ago, but there is something very special about that original series from the late 70s. It was like Star Wars on TV, but it had its own unique story where the survivors of the 12 colonies of man are fleeing the Cylons in this ragtag armada led by the Battlestar Galactica in search of the lost 13th colony of man on a planet called Earth. It was a story about exploring the galaxy, life in outer space, hope, family, brotherhood, heroism. It only lasted a single season, but it left a mark on the imagination of the people who watched it for the rest of their lives. And back in the day, there were 3 3/4 inch figures put out of Battlestar Galactica, similar to what Kenner was putting out of Star Wars with limited articulation, very simple sculpts. And so these were a little bit before my time. I would have been an infant when they came out, but I loved the show when I saw it in reruns in the 80s. And my parents did manage to find a Daggett, the robot dog, to get me. And so Daggett played with my Star Wars figures when I was a kid. And now the pre-orders for the new 3 3/4 inch line from Factory Entertainment is live right now. You can pre-order these. And so this is the Colonial Viper. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's talk about our figures first. And so there are going to be 5 3 3/4 inch figures. These are modern collectible figures. They have 13 points of articulation, show accurate sculpts and paint jobs, and they are $30 a pop. If you haven't collected toys in decades, this is a very standard price for this kind of figure. Currently, they are only available at factoryentertainment.com and Big Bad Toy Store. And unfortunately, the individual figures from Big Bad Toy Store at the time of this recording have sold out, and they are only available as complete sets. And I'm going to clarify what you can get when you buy different sets at the end of this video, because there is a little bit of confusion about that. They have brand new packaging that looks gorgeous, and it is collector friendly, so you're going to be able to open it, take out the figure, and once you're done with the figure, put it back in there and store it in the box, which is very, very nice. And so let me show you each figure individually. And so let's start with the three main heroes with Apollo, our leader here. And so all our heroes have pretty much the same body, just different head sculpts, and they come with the same accessories. And so here is Starbuck, played by Derek Benedict, who would go on to do the A-Team. And so they all come with a blaster, a leg computer, and a helmet. And here is Boomer. And so Boomer is a little bit special as far as how you're going to get him, and I'll clarify how you can get Boomer at the end. And here is a Cylon Centurion. These are your stormtroopers for the series. And this is one of the reasons I hope that they can get the situation fixed with the individual figures being sold out on Big Bad Toy Store, because I know a lot of people would love to army build these guys and build a scene where there's a bunch of Centurions fighting their warriors. And by the way, I was wondering how they were going to approach the Cylons. And so they do have the bayonet on their gun, and they do have a dot painted in the middle of their visor, a red dot to represent that red light that would go back and forth on their visor in the show. And it looks good. And here's the middle management of evil, the Cylon Command Centurion. And so this has the same body as a regular Cylon, just different paint job, which is fine. And so all the Cylons come with the same weapons, which is a blaster and a sword. So I would say definitely a nice modern upgrade on those old figures. And they did make vehicles in the old line back in 1978, but they weren't in scale with the figures, because in order to make them in scale with a 3 3/4 inch figure, they would have had to have been massive. And that is exactly what Factory Entertainment has done for their new Colonial Viper. This sucker is 17 inches long, 9 inches tall, and 6 inches wide. I have Megazords that are smaller than this thing. And so it is a rather large toy. It has a lot of sculpting and paint detail this is a very, very nice looking representation of the Viper from the TV show. And they are used to putting out prop replicas, which are kind of a more premium item. For instance, Factory Entertainment has this prop replica of the Pyramid card game that Starbuck would play on the show, available for $90. It even has instructions on how to play it. And so they are used to putting out higher end premium items. And so the Viper is no exception. It does come with landing gear if you want to display it that way. It also comes with a flight stand, which is pretty standard stuff to have those two things included. But it also has lights and sounds. So the engines will light up as well as the cockpit. And it has sounds for both the engines and the lasers, several different sounds that will be controlled by remote control. And all of it works on AAA batteries. And so it is going to retail for $220 on Factory Entertainment's website. And so that is a very high price, but it is a premium product. And unfortunately, I know that's going to price some people out of it, but it is a big vehicle and it has a lot of bells and whistles. And again, to clarify how you can get this, the Viper is available on Factory Entertainment's website for $220 and does not include an action figure. They also have the complete set of 5 figures that you can get off of their website. Big Bad Toy Store has the Viper with Boomer, and so it's $250 because you're getting the Boomer figure, but it is also the only way to get the Boomer figure from Big Bad Toy Store, because the set that they have only has 4 figures, not including Boomer, and there is no individual figure of Boomer being offered. Another thing I want to clear up is that this picture on Big Bad Toy Store of the Viper with Boomer shows the Viper being way too small for Boomer. This is a separate photo of Boomer and the Viper that are superimposed together badly. Again, this is in scale with the figure, so it is a massive toy. It is a behemoth. It's 17 inches long. To put that in context, Castle Grayskull Unfolded is 23 inches wide. And so that's it for where these figures are at right now. I will post updates if I see the individual figures become available again, or if they become available on anything other than Factory Entertainment and Big Bad Toy Store. But they do look like a very good line of new figures. And speaking of figures that I've done videos on, finally coming up for pre-order, the 7-inch John Carter figure that is based on the works of Frank Frazetta is finally going up for pre-order on Tuesday, and I'll do a video on that when we learn what the actual price of this sucker is going to be. And I suspect we're going to have a lot of new reveals, a lot of pre-orders going up because New York Toy Fair is upon us. And so I'll be doing some follow-up videos on all the different stuff that I do follow on this channel. So like and subscribe for more videos. And until next time, see ya.